Welcome to our vibrant network of governance, risk, compliance, and cybersecurity leaders. We share cutting-edge insights, best practices, and innovative strategies to empower professionals in navigating the dynamic cyber threat landscape. Join Circolo de CISO to ignite resilience and data protection across industries.
Welcome back for a final edition of API and API security. And today our conversation is primarily going to revolve around how the fintech industry is evolving and what are the major shifts from a technology perspective and how the intercontinental or cross-border transactions are going to take shape. So in the background, you might be hearing as to what the BRICS is doing and what's happening to the US dollar. So there's so many other conversations, but we'll not be delving into that, but we would restrict our conversation in terms of how the industry is emerging. So the key word we would be actually focusing on is the neobanking. And then, of course, Vaithi would, if time permits, he would also talk about open banking and various concepts around that. So Vaithi, welcome back. And maybe you could tell us what is the new trend and how is the industry taking shape?
Thank you so much, Sujit, for another episode on the API piece. I think for now, we will just talk about the emerging trends in the banking industry, right? So transformation is a very small word to actually say. There is a huge generational change in the last 20 years in the way money transfer is actually happening. Gone all those days where people used to go to a bank to withdraw money and even even carrying credit cards as such, right? So now we are in a Gen Z world where everything is virtual, right? In fact, back in EU, we have neobanks, which are completely digital. There's no physical office at all. It's a completely virtual bank, and they offer everything that the traditional bank would offer, right? Let's say from opening an account, a current account, giving virtual debit cards, credit cards, and all you need that you actually expect from a traditional bank is given by a neobank, right? And that's the place that we're actually heading towards. So tomorrow, when you actually go out, you don't need to carry your wallet at all, right? Even for your cards. So everything is on your phone. So that's the place where we are in now. Another 5 years from now, we are looking at a biometric-based finance, right? So everything is controlled by your biometric images, where you don't even have to carry your phone. So you imagine you go to your petrol bunk and you say you just have to pay, and he opens an app and you just have to put your fingerprint or any of the biometric-based authentication that you've agreed with that aggregator, and the payment process through. So we are heading to that generational transformation from where we are. So that's a big transformation as far as the industry is concerned. Along with that, there are other aspects that have significantly gained momentum, especially in the last 4-5 years, especially during the COVID period from 2019 to 2021, embedded finance that I'm talking about. So you order on a food delivery app and you make a payment. How do you do it, right? And you don't have money now. You can use things like BNPL, buy now, pay later, right? You see a lot of aggregators there coming into picture where you actually link their wallet to the food delivery app and you make a payment via that as well. So that's also gaining momentum. And alongside that, we have the decentralized finance, right? That's another area that's picking up, or rather picked up to a greater extent, especially in US as well, and also in EU as well, in terms of using the blockchain technology and how do you actually issue fungible tokens, right? And what all these technology in terms of money transfer and different types of money is bringing in is it's opening up some new industry also. There's something called as a content creator industry, Sujit. It's gained momentum, especially in the last 6-7 years. These content creators, they have their own space, and 90% of these content creators back in the US or in the EU are getting paid only via the fungible tokens, which is like decentralized finance, say Bitcoins and all of that, right? So there's a momentum shift. And in fact, there are companies back in the US which, as a part of their compensation package to certain levels, pay via Bitcoins, right? So that's the place where we are actually heading towards. And over the next 2-3 years, we will see all these concepts of decentralized finance, fungible tokens, though now being at a very embryonic stage, will gain a lot of momentum. And tomorrow, who knows, we may also be paid uh, uh, as fungible tokens. A part of our compensation structure will be via fungible tokens. So that also kind of opens up a lot of regulatory and compliance related issues as well. More headaches to the regulators also as well. How do you actually kind of govern these? What if the person is getting paid in Bitcoins, and all of those also coming into place, right? One important example that just came to my mind is recently Phone Pay. I think you should be aware of this, Sujit, right? They worked with the Sri Lankan money authorities in terms of making the payment via the
Lanka
Laka
Pay.
Pay, right? So tomorrow when you actually travel abroad, you really don't have to worry about carrying currencies on hand. All you just need to do is install the app, go there, scan it, whatever be the currency, you will be shown like this is the forex rate, and you just make the payment from your own currency, right? So that's the ease of payment that we are coming into, and these are actually facilitated by the neo banks that are getting established.
So I
Oh,
would
geez.
say the BRICS also would be on the same principle. They would decide the currency of transactions so that cross-border transactions become much more easier and not dependent on one single currency. I recently heard, I think it was yesterday or day before, where the head of JP Morgan had also said that maintaining physical cash is a huge overhead. So even the leaders, not only JP Morgan and other banks, are also advocating that we should be all moving to digital cash. So it could be in any form. It could be Bitcoins or any other form, but it is going to be digital. So with all that coming in, and I guess what we also need to be looking at is, okay, the world is moving in that direction. Is our banks ready to face that challenge? Because if they don't change, they probably may not be even be able to compete, or for that matter, be able to operate. Because I think EU is also advocating that sooner or later that there will be no physical cash. And I'm also hearing from my friends, and I've also seen a few news items in the media where countries like Australia, Canada are refusing to withdraw physical cash. So let's say you go to the counter and you say that you want to withdraw your money. They say you can't withdraw because either they don't have the cash, or that's the first steps towards pushing people to become, adoption of digital cash. Vaithi, I would like you to also comment. I recall you did speak about this in a different episode where you talked about underbanked and unbanked segment. How that would have an impact on this new trend, right?
I think it will have a huge impact in terms of the fintech adoption rate, because just to kind of refresh our memory, so unbanked population is that part of the population where they do not have a bank account. An underbanked population is where they have a bank account, but they do not use any of the digital services offered by the bank, right? Now, this number globally, the unbanked population stays at around like 45 to 50%. Majority of them is in Africa, the unbanked population. And the underbanked population is like around 60 to 70%, right? So globally. So the moment the underbanked population starts using the digital services, then you will see a big explosion in terms of the money transfer business happening, right? And particularly to the digital. And add to this the unbanked population, and alongside the literacy rate also kind of getting increase in countries like Africa and all of that, then we are in for a magnanimous explosion from an fintech perspective in terms of adoption of these new banks. right? And all the more for the fintechs also, right? There is a big market, especially in Africa and also in Latin America geographies as well, particularly to tap on the unbanked and underbanked population. And we see a lot of players getting in there, and then seeing to it that they have these tie-ups with the banks, and also, like, say, the neo banks getting established in these regions as well. So all these, though, looks like very good from from an economic perspective in terms of getting money, moved digitally, a lot of transparency happening on how things are moved. But as security experts, there is a bit of, from a risk management perspective, we need to really kind of strike that balance between convenience and security.
Well, the last question for this episode. Do you see a shift in the way the security would evolve for all these uh, change as the way operations change? Would you expect the security also to change?
Absolutely. I think there's a big mindset transformation which is now enforced. It's about how you bring in your latest technologies from an AI perspective, and then bring your security reviews up to speed. The way technology is advancing, you bring your security also up to speed in terms of assisting the business. So basically, you don't want to hear from your business saying that security is stopping me or compliance is stopping me from going live, right? So basically, you just need to kind of upgrade your gears as well, your armor as well, to see to it that you support your business, so that both of them exist, right? So, and that's how we actually create a secure environment for the people around us and the society.
So in essence, what I'm hearing from you is we are now shifting left is no longer a choice. It's not an option. It's a must. Right. So you start looking at security right at the design stage or even at the business plan stage, so that you can factor all those best practices into play, and even adhering to standards like DORA. You mentioned about DORA, and then we talked about PCI DSS version 4, and then of course various other regulations with respect to privacy. All of them point to one thing, that you've got to skip left. Closing thoughts,
Absolutely.
Vaithi?
I think the explosion is going to get bigger from a fintech standpoint. And as security professionals, we just need to ensure that we pull up our socks, upgrade ourselves, be up to date with what is happening in the industry, and then see to it that you help the business grow in a more secure way, thereby creating a lot of confidence from your customers and from your regulators as well into your products.
So that was Subramanian Vaithi, Head of Enterprise Risk Management from Neon. He spent a lot of time walking through various aspects of the API security, and how the neobanks are coming into play. So Vaithi, once again, we thank you for being on this platform to share your valuable time, sharing your experience and what you see as uh, growth propellers. And also, you are a numbers man, and you gave a lot of statistics, and I think that gave context to the discussion. Thank you so much, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Sujit. It was always a pleasure talking to you. Thank you.